Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to
Hello.
our December Magic Mixer. Um, Tonight, we are honored to have Carole Sainte-Marie and her topic, the Tarot deck. Um, as a wisdom seeker, Carole's first love was the Tarot, and it's a perfect tool to bring answers to life's questions, mysteries, and to gain mastery. She became a Tarot teacher and consultant. And in addition to that, she devotes her time to writing, working in many genres and languages. Beauty, love, spirituality, and the goddess are themes inherent to most of her texts. And two of them appear in the anthology Voices of Magic, as well as its sequel, Voices of Magic 2. And Carole says, the Tarot deck, invented so many centuries ago, still fascinates. And tonight, I'm sure she'll fascinate us when she takes us through an overview of the history and explains why the Tarot is still used today. She will also cover her code of conduct, or ethics, excuse me, displays and decks. She'll also share information that could be useful to anyone that's attracted to the archetypal images the Tarot represents. And with that, I will turn it over to the fabulous Carole Sainte-Marie.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. I'm very happy you are here. It's the first time I do something like that, so please be indulgent. I would like to start with a little prayer. This is a prayer that I use because, sometimes we begin with a little meditation or a minute or two to focus on the light. So let's invoke the light. This is what I invoke myself before a reading, okay? Almighty presence of God, I am, in and behind the sun. I welcome thy light, which floods all the earth, into my life, into my mind, into my spirit, into my soul. Radiate and blaze forth thy light. Break the bonds of darkness and superstition. Charge me with the great clearness of thy white radiance. I am thy child, and each day I shall become more of thy manifestation. So this is it for that. And I begin with a good evening again. I know I speak to many tarot aficionadas here, so I'm offering what was not already presented by other tarot readers among this group. First, a word about myself as a tarot reader or consultant, as I was using this title when offering my services. I discovered tarot in the year 1966 when I was 19, and it has been a pivotal experience. I was already interested in the paranormal at that time, mostly by ghosts. But on that day, I strongly sensed that I had rediscovered something I had seen before, as it seemed I already knew about these images, and it was like reacquainting with an old friend. Of course, you might think, they are archetypes, and as such, they reflect all the experiences any human can have, meaning that they speak to everyone living on this planet, whatever their culture, religion, or social status. But still, something was stirring within me, and I was somewhat filled with joy. It was instant fascination, love at first sight, the tower in action. So I show you the tower here. I try for the first time to share. So let us see what we have. Blum, blum, blum. Here is the tower. Share the tower. Where's my tower? Well, share tower. Okay, there we go. You are sharing. Do you see it? I'm not able to do that? You are screen sharing, but I want just one picture in there. Ah, here it comes. Here it comes. Here's the shot, the tower. Okay, so how do I And this, as I told you, I'm not very used to it. But anyway, I tried to change a little the pictures that I am to show you so that as you see a tower, you have an idea of what it means when it enters into a reading. So I stop that share, and I hope I'll be more better the next time. It happened as follows. In that year, I ordered a popular book from France that had been written in 1926 by Oswald Hyer. Its reading was arduous and quite hermetical, linked to the teachings of renowned European spiritualists, occultists, and alchemists of the 19th century. And the book was accompanied by the 22 major arcana he had created. So now I show you that deck, which is the Oswald Wire deck. So I'll try to be better this time. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Here it is. There we go. So this is a deck that I really love. I prefer it even to the Tarot of Marseille. I like the colors. I don't know. It speaks to me. I like it very much. As you see in the classical tarot, the energy is very raw. So that was it being recorded. Okay. Yes. No, stop share. Okay. And so as a side note, it is said that Oswald Dwyer is the inventor of the Celtic cross display, the one that everyone knows and is included in every tarot booklet. I first used the deck to get answers to my intricate love life, then sometimes read for neighbors who found the message delivered to be accurate. Years later, I registered in a course and even attended a workshop in Toronto given by Mary Greer, maybe you know her, who had written books on the subject. Her books were quite popular in the 70s, something like that. I can't remember how things developed, but I was asked to teach it as spiritual tool in a center like this MSCO, and then in a public school. Yes, I was paid by the city to give such a course. Would you believe? Needing to make extra money, I also worked for a telephonic 800 tarot line for 2 years. I'm pretty much retired from it now, doing consultations only for a few regular clients. I'm retired, so to speak. I must say that my dream actually would be much more to create a tarot deck. And I know exactly what would be the subject of my deck. It's just that I need first to win at the lottery to pay this artist. Okay. So tarot readers or consultants often use the high priestess as a symbol for their divinatory, yes, art. So I show you the high priestess in case some of you are not sure who she is. One moment. It's this one, blah, blah, blah. No, there she is. Okay. So this is the one. This is the one, your screen you're sharing. Bah, okay. So this is the one that you see represented a lot, even if you don't know tarot, by many tarot readers. At least she appeared on their card or their ads or whatever. The thing is, for me, I prefer the hermit. So the hermit is me here. Where do I go? Okay, the hermit. The hermit is here. Okay, there we go. It's long, before it happens on the screen. There we go. So I prefer the hermit, actually. Okay, so because my main purpose has always been to dig into the mysteries and teachings much more than readings for clients. As you see, I have nothing to sell. This is why this meeting is rather an expose. Okay, so now we go with a word about history. So what am I to talk about? The origin of the tarot is lost in time, and there are many speculations. However, we know that decks were quite popular among the Italians before reaching France and then other European countries. there was before that, because the tarot that were used then have an inspiration that comes from India or other places in the world. But we are mostly concerned with the decks that we know about this story here. So people played card games, and tarot is the ancestor of today's normal decks used by everyone. These became the minor arcana, divided in swords, pentacle, cups, and wands, what that we know. So I show you some picture of the tarot of those times, or about those times, let's say. Here it is. Wow, they're so cute. Share, share, is it? Aha, here. Okay. Bon, so here they are. With the cups, the pentacles, the wands, and the swords, and the former pictures that we were seeing, you know, roughly in those times, I presume, something like that. Okay. Okay. So the major arcana were added to the deck at some point, and I honestly don't know how they were used then. For sure, the cards were not seen under the light that we see them today. This being said, the history I am focusing upon begins in the year 1392, when an artisan called Jacquemin Gringonard produced three decks, richly ornamented or gilded, to entertain a bored King of France, Charles VI. As I said, although the images pretty much existed before, this event is renowned as being a significant in the history of tarot. This is a beautiful tarot. So I show it to you. Hello, Kitty. Okay, one moment. So this one is here. Okay. Share. Screen sharing. I don't know why it doesn't come.
Are you double clicking on it?
Yeah, I did. I should. Maybe like that. You know what? I'll try again.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. How would I say it? I am, how do I say it? Technically handicapped. This is technically handicapped. Bon, there we go. Gringonard is here. So that's the one. Oh, I'm very sorry it doesn't. Here it comes. Look how beautiful this tarot is. You know, filled with gold and rich coloring and things like that. I really like it, but it's more difficult to read actually. So they were playing some games with tarot then, but not necessarily the way, you know, we do now. So here it is. Okay. And so what happens with tarot, actually, is that it always regains popularity at the turn of centuries and at time of great innovations or turmoil. In the 14th and 15th century, the Middle Age was being replaced little by little by the Renaissance movement, which began in Italy and spread into the rest of Europe. The invention of printing in 1435 facilitated the reproduction of these images. The classic decks, which I truly love, present the people and beliefs of those times: the artisan, the pope, the political leader, the hermit, etc. People were religious, so we find biblical references and vices and virtues, the devil, the Tower of Babel, the final judgment. The four evangelists are represented in the world. So I show you the world, and I show you who are the evangelists in there. Okay, so where is my world? It is here. Wait, it's here. Very small, your screen sharing. I'm so sorry. I'm not good at it. So sorry. Okay.
Maybe Celeste can bring it up for you. Are those the
Okay.
ones she sent us to Celeste?
Yeah, but I have more than what I sent. This is the thing. So this is the monk. Okay, the world. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, there we go. So you see, we have in the corner there, Luke is the ox, Mark is the lion, John is the eagle, and Matthew is the angel. Finally, there are references to the planetary system as well. Okay. Other symbolisms were added as the decks evolved and gained complexity. Among those, their names, numbers, as well as the 22 Hebrew letters found on some decks. From richly ornamented cards destined to the rich and famous of the time, the decks became simpler, offering only 4 basic colors: yellow, red, blue, and green or light blue, like what we see in the Tarot de Marseille at the end of the 15th century. There has been a few editions of the Tarot de Marseille that gained popularity, namely the Nicolas Convert deck, published in 1760 or 1780, depending on the source, and which has been popular for about 100 years. So I'll try that one. And you'll see the evolution in the pictures. This is what I find interesting. Ok, d'abord ici. Okay. There we go. Now there it comes. Okay, so you see that from the gilded one that we see earlier, there's a big drop in here, huh? So this is for the general public. Voilà, there we go. And so that was what was used until the improvement of the printing process, where the Tarot de Marseille or Marseille Tarot deck, published by Grimaud in 1930, became the most popular of them all until today. You know what I would like? I would like an arrow to go to the next picture. It would be so much easier. Anyway, so you'll see now the Tarot de Marseille as we see it today. There we go. Share. Okay. Okay. So this is mostly the one that you will see. But here it comes. So this is extremely popular. I'm sure that all of you who like tarot have seen this. I possess already, I think, 2 of them. I possess about 3 versions of the Marseille Tarot. Okay. And so they are still available on the market and are used a lot in Europe. This is why also I focus mainly on those type of decks, because I noticed that the people in United States and all that, they will use rather the Rider-Waite and that type of decks. But I also belong to groups, in France, and they still use those much more than the ones that you use in United States. So there's also the tot that is mostly used in the States, but personally, I don't like it. I have one, but I don't like it. But to some people, it works, very finely. The rider deck, which I won't present to you because you all know it. And anyway, I have it right here. So this is very familiar to you. The rider deck was created under the influence of the Order of the Golden Dawn in 1877. The novelty with the rider deck, the Rider-Waite, is that the minor arcana show pictures instead of what is referred to playing cards, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. This obviously changes in some ways the meaning of those cards and offer a different perspective. A few major arcana were also redesigned. They are the lovers, which in its original form is the lover in singular, and esoterically speaks about the relationship between the different parts of ourselves and union with our higher self. Others are death that moved from a skeleton to a ride on a horse or an embarkation or whatever the new inspiration leads to, and the sun, which has numerous artistic interpretations. So this is why I show you many interpretations of the sun. And I'm not more familiar with my screening than I was before, but we'll see. So stop share here. I'm sorry. I'll go to the other one. Ta-tum, ta-tum, ta-tum. Okay. Where's my sun? I think it's here. Okay. So the sun is here. Okay. Now you see,
Carol,
this
when it
is
blows
the.
up on your screen, will you click your screen that it's blown up on? We're still on the small screen.
I'm on a big screen.
Yes, but can you click it so we can also be on a big screen?
Oh, I don't know. I'll try. Okay, I'll try that again. One moment. Stop share here. Okay. I'm sorry.
Nope.
I thought it was as big for you as it was for me. Okay.
I think if you just, once you blow it up, if you
Mm-hmm.
click on the screen, just touch it with your mouse, then
Mm-hmm.
maybe it'll take, I don't know. Celeste, you're the one that usually does that. Is that how that works?
Do I have a big one here? Let me see. Well, this is it. Okay, screen share this. Chocolat. It's so difficult. But there we go. My screen is big, and if I do this, what does it do? Nothing. No. Ew. Ew. No, 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 we don't want that. Sorry. Okay. Supprimer le rognage. Oh my, I mixed everything, huh? Okay. So what if I do this? I'll stop that and I'll try again and I'll try to, because it's nice to see it. So there we go. Here, okay. Share. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can share that. Well, there we go. Okay, so let me see if I can do something about it. No. I'm sorry, I'm not able to, I don't know how to. Anyway, you had an idea that was all sorts of presentation of this sun there. If I go back to my sun, where was it? Maybe I'll find it here. Here it is. Sun, okay, share. Do you see it better? Because me, I have it big.
Yes, that's it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yay.
So we begin with two, like two kids, two young people surrounded by a walled fence and the sun, and then you end up with almost a baby on a horse and a woman raising from the God knows what, and so now there's a lot of interpretation. But obviously, when you read, let's say, the first Trump versus maybe the fifth one or the last one, we're not talking about the same thing at all. It does influence your reading, right? I hope you agree. Right. Okay. Nowadays, so we can find a tarot deck on any theme that interests you. Cats, fairies, witches, name it, there is one for you. They are certainly quite creative and have become a real work of art. Of course, these representations affect the message and lead to a different interpretation. The word arcana is the plural of the word arcanum. It derives from the Latin arcanus, which means secret, mostly referring to metaphysical and spiritual matters. No wonder many tarot readers use the secretive high priestess on their business cards or ads. From the Fool to the World, the arcana represent the earthly path of a soul. There are many ways of interpreting the succession of the arcana as related to a soul's evolution. First, the deck can evoke a wheel. In this case, once a plateau is attained with the world, the Fool begins a new cycle. Also, when studying the relationship between the cards and pondering about them, the deck can be cut into rows. The first option is simply making 2 rows of 11 cards each. For the second and third option, we find 3 rows of 7 cards each, or 7 rows of 3 cards each, represented spirit, soul, and body. You might have noticed that in the 2 last options, the total comes to 21 cards. In those cases, the Fool becomes some type of a joker, not being used or placed either at the beginning or end of the rows. A fourth option is offered by our mutual friend Lazarus. He offers a discussion about the division in 3 rows or tiers of the tarot entitled Spiritual Mastery, the Journey Begins. So maybe you have seen the tiers before, but I'll put them there for the usage of those who have not, no, it's not the one, who have never seen it. 1 moment. I think it's here. Oh. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it's, where is it? You know what? Once again, it's very strange. The tears disappear. Also, I'll show you some other way. I have it right here. I'm sure you have seen this from Lazarus, right? So, no? Okay. So I'll explain it to you. What does this get? So in this case, the lower tier begins with standing on the brink, which is the Fool. The second, there it comes. Okay, thank you, because it's very strange. I checked many times my images, and this one was always disappearing. I don't know why. The second tier is Triumph, which is the Chariot. And the third begins with Temperance and ends with Judgment. In this case, the 22nd card that completes the cycle is the World, which stands for Mastery. And once mastery is reached, the person must go back and redo the path, having acquired another dimension in his evolutionary process. No wonder that tarot has been named the Royal Path. It is a tool whose archetypes, represented in the card, can act like a beacon to understand our life at any level and the mysteries of the soul. Tarot has many usages. It can be used as divinatory tool in meditation and in magic. So I change now the second part of it. How does tarot work? Tarot speaks mainly about the present. It's a great tool to analyze a problem and inform the customer of the most probable outcome, or at least offer a path that could lead to a solution. If you heard of quantum physics, you understand that with tarot, we enter a domain of possibilities. Nothing is guaranteed, as the path can deviate with any subsequent change happening in the mind of the client. But it happens that tarot can also predict that. We find this reference to the quantum physics and the heart of manifesting with the Pope. It is found in its tiara, divided in 4 layers in the classic decks. These layers represent the world of archetypes, the world of creation, the world of formation, and the physical world. So this is my last image. So I'll try my last time, being defaulted with my share. My share would be here, this. Let me see if it works well. No, it doesn't. So let me see here. Ta-da. Ah, here it comes. So if you look at this tiara, you will see 4 layers. I don't know if the image is big enough for you. This is the exact, and also in his staff, there's also 4 layers in it. So this is the esoteric meaning of the 4 realms of manifestation. Okay. So I say it again, it's archetypes, creation, formation, and physical world. Bon, that's it for the images. Yay! Okay. So how are the cards picked? Here, the subconscious is the one acting. Even with the images facing the table, the client's subconscious knows which ones need to be chosen. The interaction between the client and the tarot consultant lies within the universal link where everything, past, present, and future, is already recorded. The reading is a mix of the consultant's intuition in picking up the information based on the whole image or any symbol appearing on it. Sometimes there's a blockage, and the interpretation is not that obvious. A tarot consultant can give a pretty much accurate reading if she or he has seriously studied the different meanings of each trump. The tarot never lies. We can go wrong, can be found. What can go wrong can be found in the misinterpretation by the reader or even the client not recognizing facts. For example, one of the last customer that I had, she asked me about the man presently in her life. I mentioned something to the effect that the man was mostly interested in power and materiality and things like that, which she strongly objected. You are wrong, you are wrong, you are wrong, she firmly said. And she is not like that at all. However, she later admitted that she had never met him. It was a man of another country with whom she communicated only on the net. So since you know what was the matter, I was right, but till this day, I'm sure she thinks I was wrong. Okay. One thing is sure. Let's say you do not accept what the display reveals. It is not the answer you wished for. The thing is, you can repeat the question, even ask 3 times the question to the tarot. The answer will always be the same. Either the same cards will come back or the one selected will convey the same message. My code of ethics. There are as many ways to read the tarot as there are readers. However, offering readings professionally ideally comes with some experience of life and spiritual evolution. After all, the client voluntarily, that's hard to say, gives some of his or her power to the consultant, and it must be used for the greatest benefit of this person. Sometimes the life of that person is a real mess, and no one should leave with suicidal ideas. It is important to find a positive point that would offer a ray of hope in one way or the other, or a desire to fight. Obviously, a tarot consultant is not using a magic wand, and an extremely bad situation cannot be presented as being fine. After all, a one-way love affair will still remain a one-way love affair after the consultation. But what the client will be learning along the way what are his or her options in order to find more balance and more joy in his or her life. So, what's my code of ethics now? First, I create the space for the reading to go as harmoniously as possible by preparing myself mentally and emotionally. I make sure I am rested and alert and in a positive mood. I refrain from alcohol. By preparing my home for the reading, a reading always gives me the occasion to vacuum and dust the furniture. I open the windows to change the air and use a touch of incense to purify the room. I also do a protective ritual that will be found in the comic book on rituals. I always I always have a box of Kleenex nearby and paper and pen for the client to take notes. I personally do not offer a registered session unless a client requests it. Soft music will be the final touch. On the spiritual level, when all the rest is set, I meditate and invoke the light by reciting an invocation by Saint Germain, which is the one I did at the very beginning. I'm almost through. So before starting the reading, I present a discharge form informing the client that the cards are used as a guide meant to help any decision making and reminding them that they have the responsibility to use discernment about what will be said. I encourage communication during the reading. They can always agree or disagree. The form adds that the reading is considered entertainment and the fee is for my time. Very important. It happens once I was reading in, those fairs there. And someone came to me and I was doing a small reading about 20 minutes. And I said things, not exactly the words, but meaning that there's a loss of job involved and things like that. And here again, the customer said, no, 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 I'm very happily married and we have a great job and the money is flowing and blah, 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 blah. It was a 2-day fair. So the next day she comes to me in a hurry. In the evening, her husband has lost his job. And the thing is, the day before, I said, okay, I'm all wrong. I was a beginner. I won't have you pay. But in reality, I did a very accurate reading and she should have paid. So from that point, I always mention that the time must be paid. And so this is it. So the reading can begin. I ask them what is the purpose of their visit. Do they want a general reading or focus on a particular topic? Sometimes a client will say absolutely nothing, possibly wanting to test if I'm such a great medium. Obviously, they are not helping themselves, but if they want it this way, so be it. It must be remembered that each trump can speak about the challenge in the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual field. So, needless to say, a precise question has a greater chance of resulting in a clear answer. To the question, should I do this or that, take this job or the other offer I got, I will read both options. So then they can decide what is the best for them. Still, it can happen that the message is not clear. If it is the case, I will mention it. Maybe the client doesn't really want to know, or it might be me that is being blocked. Who knows? But when it happens, which detail in the card stands out that could give me a hint? Of course, picking another card usually helps in the comprehension of what was displayed. A reader can also mentally reformulate the question, for instance, what is it that this client needs to hear? And see how that trump responds. I'm not a fan of the Celtic cross, the display that is always included in the booklet that everyone begins with. My favorite is a 7-card display that basically contains all the same basic positions, past, present, immediate future, the recommendation, the outside influence, the obstacle, if any, and the outcome. If need be, I create a display, adding positions fitting the situation that could be what is my strength, what works in my favor, as well as what do I need to correct, or what is the inner obstacle? And I always add then, what is the soul lesson? So I have here an idea, I think, yeah. So this is one, for instance, that I had created. You see? So, you know, I do, depending on what they want to know, I create my stuff. Okay, what else? So now that's the end of it. The conclusion is coming. For a general reading, I do the astrological wheel display using the Oswald Wires Tarot that I presented to you at the beginning. I also read the cards both upright and reverse, along with the minor arcana, which color, so to speak, the major arcanum it accompanies. For all other readings, I let the client choose among some modern decks while I always keep the inner child tarot as a complement if I'm stuck, or for a quick one card question, or even if it involves children. I read those upright only. The deck use an incidence on a reading. The classic tarots have a it's RAWER energy, while the modern ones invite more creativity in the reading. It opens other portals, so to speak. So after the customer has left, I take note of the deck use with a resume of the session in case the client needs some clarification later or for future reference when they come back, because I also give after call service. So this concludes my presentation. So I hope you learned something and I was not too boring. That's it.
Thank you, Carol. We had a couple of technical difficulties, but nothing we couldn't overcome. With super interesting information and at least for me anyway, a deeper dive, especially into the history of the tarot. Does anybody have any questions for Carol?
I don't know if I have a question, but I have a comment. I mean, that was fantastic. That was just so much information. Really, really, thank you so much, Carol, for all of it. The history and the descriptions of the cards and the different kinds of decks, and then your own process. It was, I feel very educated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Same
I
here.
feared it would be too much information.
It's awesome. That was a fantastic presentation.
It was really delightful. I enjoyed it and I learned a lot. And I found so many similarities to our experiences and what we've dealt with at the psychic fairs and how we read for people. So that was really nice to hear everything that you had to say about that. Thank you.
So we share also the pirate ship and the and the tarot reading in pairs.
Thank you, Carol. That was very interesting. I have a question. The page you showed with the 3 tiers, where does that come from?
It's a Lazarus video, actually. There's no meditation whatsoever. And it's called Spiritual Mastery. It was, I don't know how I came into it. I came into it actually quite recently. It's about a 2.5-hour affair. And I still have 15 minutes of it to listen to because I take notes, you know. And but I found it very interesting because this is exactly what the tarot is. I said it is the royal path. So it's instead of a religion, for instance, or you know whatever, it's a way to evolve in life. So it's I'll tell you exactly what is the title. It won't be long. One moment. It is called Spiritual Mastery, colon, The Journey Begins.
Thank you.
And it's an old thing. You see, by the way they are dressed, you know, it must have been in the 70s or God knows what. Yeah.
I remember that one, and it's so funny because I drew a big poster board of it,
Mhm.
and I went in a big circle, and then I made the 3 crossways into a Y so that you could know where you could go,
Yeah.
because I remember the lovers was always a giveaway,
Mhm. It's a
like,
difficult card to read, the lovers, at least for me. For me, it's the most difficult
yeah.
of
How
all the
come?
cards. Yeah, yeah. How
How
come? Because
yeah.
there's so many things to it. There
Mm.
is this spiritual thing with the unity of yourself. It's a question of choices. It's a question of relationships. Name it.
Yeah.
It can almost be in the lover. So to me, it's one that is extremely difficult to read.
And
Yeah.
it was fascinating when you described how it used to be called the lover card. I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about that. And
Yeah.
that made a
Yeah.
lot of sense because that's how I read it a lot of times, is a relationship with yourself
Yeah.
and with your
Yeah.
higher
Yeah.
self.
Yeah, yeah. It really the new ways, when they started with the Golden Dawn because the Golden Dawn is the starting point of all the new decks. So this is when the name was changed. But yes, it does make a difference. Yeah. Mm. But in French, in the French tarots, it's always l'amoureux, the lover. Yeah.
Mm. And do you find that when you are tuning in and either getting ready to do a reading or you're in the reading, that as you are reading the card, you also download other information that may be tangential to the card, or, like when you were talking about the lovers, I thought, oh, that probably, or the lover, that probably has, a lot to do with the question that was asked, or what their higher self or their soul or part of their unseen team wants that person to know. And
Yeah.
you take in that, you hear that information, and then blend that with what's in front of you in the deck.
Yeah, there's mediumnity
Yeah.
when you read the tarot, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Because sometimes things go out, my God, where did I take that? I'm sure that Jolene will say the same thing. Uh, yeah. Especially what I find fun is when past life, when you have the idea that there's a past life there, the energy is so strong, it comes on you, it's yeah. But as I said, I don't do readings much. It stresses me. I'm so fearful of, being bored or not giving the information that is really needed. That's me. That's me. So I prefer the other aspect. I prefer teaching, and what I would really love is to create a deck, with some esoterical and spiritual teaching in it. This is what I would like to do. Yeah.
I'd love
you
to see that deck. I'm looking forward to your deck. I think it's going to be awesome.
Wish me money. That's the only thing that stops me.
A mysterious benefactor
Yeah, yeah,
comes
yeah,
forward.
yeah. And if you know one about my age, with a heart condition that is very rich, and things like that.
might be fun. You might want them without a heart condition so you can enjoy it. Yeah.
No, I'd love to meet someone, who is on, very complimentary to me. I joke, but actually, uh, we become more difficult with age and with evolution.
There's a
So are you?
There's a
Mhm.
ton of people that create tarot decks and use GoFundMe, or not GoFundMe, Kickstarter,
Yeah,
or one of
yeah,
those
yeah,
jumpstart
yeah,
things.
yeah,
I've bought a
yeah,
lot, supported a lot
yeah.
of decks on there, so that might be one way to approach
It
it.
could be.
Huh.
I checked about that. It was last year that I was really in the mindset for this. And but I feel that for those GoFundMe and all that, you need to have a pool of people to begin with. And I'm such a solitary magician, you know, as Lazarus would call us, that I don't feel I know enough people to it's me that's my but the idea is great, and yes, I've seen that. Yes.
And I think you've done like, Joanne's got like 100 decks of cards. Her mausoleum is like, or her crystallarium in the mausoleum.
Yeah, but there are beautiful. I have some of the new decks here, you know, pieces of art. You could frame them. They are so beautiful. I collect them just for the beauty of them. I don't even use them. Some tarots I never used. It's always the same one, you know, that
Yeah, they really can be works of art, truly.
yes, they are.
And you said you do one-on-one teaching as well for the tarot?
Yeah, yeah, I did. Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Does anybody have any other questions or comments for Carole?
Yeah, because it's already an hour that has passed. I thought when I began my expose, I had for about 10 minutes, and I said, "Oh my God, how will I feel the rest?" And yesterday,
Well, and
I
you have that all written out, Carole. It seems like something you can publish.
Yeah, maybe, maybe.
Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us. And also, mostly, I'd like to thank Carole for such an insightful and beautiful presentation of the Tarot.
Thank you very much.
That was great.
Thank you.
And in January, we'll be doing a Voices of Magic reading, right?
Yes, we will. Carole and Janice, right, are going to read your stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Janice's story is so beautiful. It's very moving. Very, very moving. One of the best one in the book, I find.
Love Janice's writing. I love your writing too.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for having come to my home, hearing me, you know, speaking about something that I like very much, which is tarot.
Obviously, you obviously love it and are so much. It's really, really special. I love this.
Thank you.
Great job.
Well, with that, we will